Good early evening everybody from Singapore Changi International Airport's Terminal 1. My name is Hugo and I just arrived in from Sydney after taking a flight on that Qantas A320 behind me. Now I'm going to be connecting on to try Jetstar Asia for the first time. Got a QF code share flight so I can go and use the lounge now. But without further ado, come along and let's see what Jetstar Asia's like and if it's worse or better than Jetstar Australia. After arriving off of QF81, there was someone holding a sign with gate info and stuff for connecting flights, including ours. Jetstar Asia uses Terminal 4, which you have to catch a bus to get to from Terminal 1, but I have enough time to go and check out the Qantas lounge, which I have access to thanks to my Qantas Gold status and being on a QF code share flight. If I hadn't booked it as a QF flight number, I don't think I would have had access. The Qantas lounge staff recommended we leave 45 minutes before boarding because of the bus and stuff. The Qantas lounge here in Singapore has a bar with barista coffee as well as a buffet with a good selection but not amazing. But there's a couple a la carte options too. I had the Malaysian mee goreng, which is tasty. I'd forgotten that they bring around a cart sometimes, and they did after I already ate. A queue sort of started for the cart. There were spring rolls, prawn dumplings, I gather har gow, and chips. I had a spring roll and a prawn dumpling and both were tasty. The Qantas lounge here in Singapore is great. Though not outstanding, but it's better than a lot of Qantas lounges. Now let's catch the bus over to Terminal 4. You can do this both airside and landside. The bus lounge is nice. The bus process is pretty easy, especially compared to Sydney, but it does take a bit of time.
In the UK it'd be like, no, I can't take you.
If you catch the airside bus to Terminal 4, you have to go through some security before you can get airside, because in Terminal 1, 2 and 3, you do baggage and body scanning at the gate, but not at Terminal 4. Boarding seems to have started slightly early. It was done by Rose and pretty nice and chill.
It's 10 to 30 to board through gate G9.
Hi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. There's my ride to KL. 9 Victor Juliet Sierra Yankee is a 2011 built Airbus A320-232, which was delivered new to Tiger Airways in 2011 and was transferred to Scoot when Tiger Air merged with Scoot in 2017, and it eventually made its way to Jetstar Asia in early 2024. Jetstar Asia is part of the Jetstar Group, which is owned by Qantas, and Jetstar Asia is part owned by Qantas, hence the partnership and the code share agreement. Jetstar Asia is based in Singapore and currently has a total of 13 Airbus A320s in its fleet.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome on board one of Jetstar Asia's ex-Scoot A320s. Looks like the seats are the same as they were on Scoot, which makes sense. So there's 180 seats in an all-economy class 3-3 configuration. My seat for this flight will be 9F. Now let's take a quick look at the seat features. The legroom is very average. I think it's supposed to be 28 or 29 inches. There's a standard seat back pocket which contains some literature, including a magazine, which is cool. Looks like an interesting one to me too. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Then there's a pretty standard tray table which can be adjusted back and forth, but you can't fold it. There's no entertainment screens, device holders or coat hooks. There's the overhead panel. There is some recline, but there's no in-seat power, it doesn't seem. There's no headrest, the seats are quite upright, and the seat back's relatively tough. The buy on board menu selection is solid, considering Jetstar Asia doesn't do super long flights. And here's a quick look at the magazine, which is nice to see on a low-cost carrier.
Thank you.
While we were waiting on the ground, the crew handed out a blueberry muffin and bottled water to me and some other passengers. I gather those who booked with Qantas.
Jetstar 687 service to Kuala Lumpur. The flight time is looking at approximately 40 to 45 minutes. And,
I wonder if they did this just because they had time or if they always do this before departure. So I believe the blueberry muffin and bottled water is one of the benefits of booking through Qantas. I'm not sure if you get it if you book it as a 3K flight number or if it's just for QF code shares.
Please give them your
Where was
it's very short. We will not have time to give you the arrival briefing as we are standing quite busy in the cockpit. Just give you a quick update. KL is looking generally fine weather, landing temperature of 29 degrees Celsius. And we should be landing on schedule at approximately 8:40 in the evening. On behalf of the whole team, thank you for choosing Jetstar Asia. We wish you a pleasant flight with us and also a pleasant journey ahead in Kuala Lumpur. Thank you.
Would like to extend special welcome to our Qantas frequent flyers, club Jetstar members and passengers on coach partners traveling with us today. The flight time is approximately 15 minutes. For safety, please ensure baggage is not securely under the seat in front of you or the compartments. Passengers in emergency exit routes 1, 12, and 13 must place all items in the compartments for takeoff and landing. Bus A320. Even if our Jetstar frequently, we will appreciate attention for just a few minutes.
It's now time for pushback, about 3 minutes behind schedule.
To do it up for the class in the buckle and tighten the shoe. Undo it by lifting the buckle flap. We should keep our seatbelt down over the seat just in case we come across unexpected turbulence. In our seat pocket, you'll find safety briefing card that shows the brace position and other important information on what you should do in the unlikely event of emergency. Please take a moment to read it before we take off. The A320 has 8 emergency exits. Look to where the is pointing to find nearest exit. Put it on quickly over your nose and mouth and tighten the strap. Once the mask is working properly, you have others, including children. You must only fill life jackets as you leave the aircraft. To prepare takeoff, ensure seatbelts upright, your armrests down, your tray tables to the window when the sheets open.
By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far and you'd like to see more like it, then please consider liking and subscribing.
Continue reading or reading list located on the banner above you. Thank you.
It would really help me and the channel out so much as it would boost the algorithm, but if you don't want to, that's completely okay. It's now time for takeoff on runway 20 centre. So as I was kind of halfway through editing this video, Qantas has announced that it will close Jetstar Asia. Jetstar Asia's operations will cease on July 31st as part of its strategic restructure, and citing rising costs and regional demand. I'm surprised to see this news, but at the same time, it does make some sense, because compared to Scoot, Jetstar Asia just has a smaller network and fleet, and in the area you've got AirAsia, which again has a larger fleet and larger network and is just a better airline. But it is sad to see, since there'll be like 500 jobs affected, and it means Qantas doesn't have as much Southeast Asian connectivity, because for example they don't have an airline flying to KL now. And also the route from Broome to Singapore is a sad one to see go. So I guess this was my first and my last time flying on Jetstar Asia. I've decided to have my blueberry muffin and water now that the seatbelt sign's been turned off. The muffin was pretty nice and the water was water. The crew walked around with a buy on board card or menu and then came around collecting rubbish. And I think then we started our descent. So as we're already descending into Kuala Lumpur, please allow me to conclude my experience with Jetstar Asia and connecting onward from a Qantas flight. My baggage was checked through and boarding passes printed, and so once I got off the Qantas flight I could just go straight to the lounge, which as I said earlier I think is a great lounge but not outstanding. The bus transfer as I said was pretty easy but it does take time. Boarding was done I think slightly early by rows and was pretty chill. The seat is okay for this short flight, but as I said with Scoot, it's not great, so I wouldn't like to spend too long in this seat. But I don't believe that all of Jetstar Asia's aircraft have this configuration. I think it made sense for the muffin and water to be handed out before departure, and it was nice to get something for booking with Qantas, but expected really. The buy on board selection was solid. The cabin crew were friendly based on the few interactions I had, but I didn't get the vibe that they were rude or anything like some of the reviews online say, I think. Also, having the magazine is nice. So overall, I've had a very pleasant experience on Jetstar Asia. It feels quite chill, especially compared to what Jetstar Australia can sometimes be like. Aside from this particular seat, I don't really think that based on this flight at least, Jetstar Asia is worse than Jetstar Australia. In fact, I think in some ways it's better. I think I'd certainly do this connection from Qantas again if the price and everything is right. It's no frills, but seems to do the job well. What do you think of Jetstar Asia? I'd be interested to hear in the comments below. We'll soon pull into the gate about 2 minutes behind schedule, but for now please enjoy the rest of the approach and landing on Kuala Lumpur International Airport's runway 33.
The temperature is 28 degrees Celsius. for flying Jetstar.
I'd like to take this time to thank you all so much for watching this video. I'd also like to thank all of my incredible Patreons for helping to make these videos possible. Their support is truly so much appreciated, and I couldn't do what I do without them, so thank you so much to them.
Crew, disarm the doors.
Thank you, have a nice day. Thank you. Bye. Once again, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you in my next one next Saturday at 5 PM Melbourne time.